Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'm Susie, and this podcast helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads by taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, grab your beverage of choice, and let's get this episode going. Hello, gorgeous souls. Oh my goodness. I just I started recording this podcast and I could not stop. I really dislike it when I have a bunch of ums when I'm recording. And I was like, you know what? And it's so funny how what I'm talking about today, like, no, I need to have clear sense of thought here. What am I trying to say? Oh my goodness. With that, I'm drinking some sweet tea on this hot summer day. How are you doing out there? And maybe it was because I was able to sleep in. Cody actually came in this morning, snuggled up next to him. We both just knocked out. Actually slept in for a change. It was wonderfully nice because normally I'm get up, let's go, let's get things done before, something happens and it doesn't get done. But anyways, here we are, 12:22, 222. Let's go. We're gonna be okay. Just for this moment. I will not worry. It's just it was wild. Anyways, I am actually going to be talking to you about all of the psychic clairs. I was figuring since I went over spirit guides, how to connect, who are they, what is it? This would be a perfect time for, and there I went. I want to start a drinking game. Every time I say take a drink. I don't know what's with me today. Anywho's, we're talking about the psychic clairs. Since we're discussing the topic of spirit guides, I figured let's go ahead and start discussing all of the psychic clairs. And what's happening to me right now, right this moment, I feel like I'm supposed to be getting some downloads, and I'm like, right now, it's not a good time. That's how I feel is happening to me. Anyways, we're going to be going over the clairs, and these episodes are going to be a little bit shorter. That way, if you are going to try out some of the activities that I have for each of these episodes on how to strengthen the clairs, or you want to come back to a clair to get some more information or whatever. Sometimes we need to hear things on repeat or hear it once again, especially if you are driving right now or you're at work or you're taking a walk. Maybe when you get back to a space where you can meditate on it, maybe re-listen to these episodes and maybe write some things down. 100% I would go and do that. So I didn't want to put all the clairs in one long episode. I want to go ahead and just space things out. That way it's easier for you to come back to. And I'm going to do this little shout out to my husband because now anytime I hear go ahead, all I hear is go ahead. And it's an inside joke thing. I don't expect y'all to understand, but that's why I stop. And if you could see me right now, I just have the biggest smile on my face because now that's always in my head. So shout out to my husband for those little seeds he unknowingly planted. Okay, so psychic clairs. Spoiler alert, everybody has them. Everybody has the psychic ability. And you may be saying, not me, Susie. Yes, you. Now, the reason maybe you feel that you don't or it's not strong enough is it's probably trapped underneath a lot of self-doubt, an expectation of what it's supposed to look like, see, sound like, or feel like. And when you have those limitations or limiting belief, or even that skepticism where you're no longer curious, you're just like, no, I don't have it. It's just not for me. I don't receive quote unquote downloads. Then you start pushing that away and you're no longer exercising that quote unquote muscle to make your clairs a lot stronger. As we grow up, we we start noticing how society is as far as when it comes to psychic abilities, right? So either they're crazy or that's not a thing or grow up. And if you were to look at young children, really young, they're just popping off like, oh yeah, so and so came to me in a dream and said this, this, and this, and possibly so and so has been passed on. Or they see things and that you cannot see, or they feel things that maybe you cannot feel because they're open and they're receiving. I mean, if we think about the sixth sense, I mean, look at that poor kid. I see, like literally would see them walking around, these ghosts, right? But something happens, and either it's a fear or just feeling like an outsider or being called weird, or maybe it wasn't your fear, but you scare adults around you. And when that is the case, then it's like, oh, this is wrong. And we say either out loud or in our minds, like, I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to know things. I don't want to be weird anymore. And your psychic abilities never go away. They're just like in hibernation, just waiting for you to come around and be like, you know what? I'm ready. I don't care if I'm weird anymore. This is who I am. Like, why, I'm no longer scared. I understand it now because we fear what we don't know. Man, this is so much better than the first time I recorded. So let's go over the clairs. Now, with the clairs, there are four, I guess, quote unquote, main ones that you may always hear. But there are other clairs that I do want like an extension, so to speak, that I am going to get into. So I'm just going to go down the list of how I was researching them. So we have clairvoyance. And clairvoyance is the sense of a clear vision. So people might even say like a psychic sight. This is one that you may hear the most. It's like, I don't want to say famous one, but one that people talk about the most because it's like, oh, that's psychic sight. There's clairgustance, which is a clear, the sense of taste. So I thought that one's interesting. So I can't wait to get into that one. There's clairsalience. So that sense of smell. That's how you get that information. There we have clairaudience, which is a clear sense of hearing. And this is the one I'm the strongest in, or had been the strongest in. Claircognizance is a clear sense of knowing. So that insight. You don't know why it's going to happen, you just know it is. And that's the one we're going to be discussing today. There's clairsentience. This is a sense of feeling. So you can feel this throughout your body. And there's clairempathy. This is the clair where this is the sense of emotional feeling. And there's clairtangency. This is a clair with the sense of touch. So either through your hands or if someone were to touch you. And these are the clairs that I will be discussing and breaking down. These are the 8 clairs. Again, you may have really only heard of maybe clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. But there are other clairs out there that you may have. Alrighty. So this episode again might be a little bit longer now that I went through all the clairs, but each of these will be a little bit shorter. That way you can always come back to it if you're listening to it, like I said, driving, walking, and you want to come back. I am going to list and give you information on the clairs and then ways maybe you can, if you feel you would like to, start developing these clairs a little bit more. So let's begin. So the clairsenses connect with spirit. So these clairsenses allow us to connect, right, with spirit, with spirit, and the way that we feel the energy of people around us, places, and even things. So our bodies are sensitive to energy more than we realize. So if you think as if you get a tuning fork, right, and you hit it, and those vibrations are present and they're moving throughout the space. Now, these energies might be very subtle, right? So in each of these clairs, it might be very, very subtle. Maybe you don't even feel or recognize them at all. While others are going to be a little bit, you can really feel that vibration a little bit more. And when we have spirit around us and things around us, we can use those clairs in order to hone in on our energies around us or spirits around us. Also had an idea of like a radio wave. Like if you think of like how the radio waves transmit or like an antenna. Rabbit ears if you are old enough to know what that is. It's just adjusting those rabbit ears. Ooh, okay. So if you know, just came into mind. If you know what rabbit ears are, the antenna, right? If you don't have cable or dish or whatever, and you have to adjust the antennas in such a way. And I wish you can see me right now because I'm actually adjusting an imaginary antenna. When you're adjusting the antenna, you're trying to get the clearest picture, right, on your TV. So sometimes when there isn't a clear picture, you see a lot of static or the picture is just rolling and skipping. And then when you hit that right sweet spot, boom, don't touch anything, nobody move. And you have a clear picture on your television. And it just so happens that sometimes if someone were to get up or walk around, those waves interfere with the antenna. Same thing. Same thing as we were talking about the clairs. If you are trying to develop a clair and then you are real excited and you say something about it and someone or society or whomever says like that's weird or whatnot, they're getting almost like in the way of that beautiful, just like it was a clear path for you to get those waves through. And sometimes it's our own energy and our own thoughts and our own ego and imposter syndrome that gets in the way to honing in on your skills. But just like anything else, our logical brain has a hard time grasping and conceptualizing how we are able to not only just tune into our psychic abilities, but also apply them. So this is going to be trial and error. This is not like, oh, I can't get this. Everyone is different. It's just like learning a new skill, picking up or learning a new sport or picking up and learning a new instrument, especially maybe if you're not musically inclined. If you've never picked up a guitar before and you've never read music, it's going to take time. So allow yourself time, allow yourself grace. This is not like if you can get one, you suck. Okay, that's not what this is. And this is why I want to go through each individual clair to see which one maybe it just is an easy fit for you. And if you already know which clair, like I said before, I was very clairaudient. I've known that since forever. I didn't know what it was. I just know I could always hear things and see things from the corner of my eye, but we'll get into that later. Um, but then and now that I know where my strengths are, maybe those that are seasoned practitioners, now you can go into it and be like, you know what, let me try what this I don't know, this clairsentience is or this clair gustus is. And that's how you start developing all of those clairs. Okay. All righty. So claircognizance, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So as I stated earlier, claircognizance is that psychic ability of just knowing things. You don't know how you know them, you just know it. And this is really trusting that inner guidance. This is insights or realizations that just literally come out of nowhere. And even though this is one of the lesser known psychic abilities, claircognizance has been around forever. So many cultures around the world have individuals that demonstrate these insights of knowing without explanation. And they played a crucial role as seers, as healers within their communities, as maybe prophets, even. So, this ability is really valued for its potential in bringing in healing and clarity to individuals and in their communities. Some people do believe that claircognizance is a natural part of human intuition, while others think it's a spiritual gift bestowed only upon certain individuals. I feel like like I said, everyone has these gifts. It just may come easier to others. Maybe that's just where they're strongest in. But no matter where it comes from, it's a beautiful tool for navigating your everyday life, especially when, it comes to, you're at a crossroads, you have a fork in the road. So if you get unexpected ideas, right, this is where we start acknowledging that. So knowing that claircognizance means that clear knowing certain things, maybe knowing that this is from your higher self or a spirit guide, whomever, whatever spirit guides are yours. But they also come in forms of like, I don't know if you've heard, oh, I'm getting a download. These are the downloads that came in. So these are just thoughts that were just insights and things that were just sent to you. And it was, you can see it in your mind. You know it. And claircognizance people are very mentally oriented people. They're often analytical and they're good at solving problems or understanding abstract concepts, right? So if you, I don't know, see a kiddo, right? And they just have an answer for everything, right? And they always have to say something, or maybe they know too much. Sometimes that's clear that's clear cognizance right there. Maybe they were seen as a smartass or a know-it-all or whatever, but your that clear cognizance, that sense of inner knowing, that might be presented in a young kiddo like that. But for clear cognizance, people want to, you might be asking, or people have asked, like I've asked this too. What is the difference between I'm getting a download and it's just my own thought? Like, how do I know I'm getting a download and it's not just, you know, something that it was my ego? And that's a really good question because obviously there's a fine line, right? But if we're thinking about and we're deciphering between your ego or anxiety and intuitive hits, intuitive downloads, your cognizance, your knowing, your anxiety and ego, sometimes that'll play like at a loop and it won't rest. You keep coming to it, keep thinking about it over and over and over. It's almost like a worry or a fear or whatnot. When you have a clear cognizance, it doesn't loop like that. It's just instant right away. It doesn't present itself over and over and over and over again. And you can start taking notice in small details of your life. And this is how you're going to start working that muscle. Okay. People always say hindsight is 2020. Cool. But did you really have sight that something was going to happen? And I would journal that down. Journal it down or leave yourself a voice memo. This happened at this day. I knew this was going to happen. And not because I was a know-it-all, not because I wanted to be right. I knew it. In my head, I knew it. I didn't have anything facts to back it up. I just knew it. Your wisdom of your voice, of your highest self, it's Again, your logical brain wants to rationalize it, but it's just that intuitive hit right then and there. So either you knew something was going to happen or someone was going to say something around those type of themes. Start noting those down. So how can we start develop claircognizance? Well, one, if you're always like, dang, I always know when something's going to happen. What's up with that? Start journaling it down. Start writing it down. And that way you can start kind of honing in on when you get these intuitive hits or what happens. Maybe you dream something's going to happen and it happens. Take note of it. Automatic writing is also an amazing tool to develop that claircognizance. So I know you can type it. However, it'll help hone this in at a stronger um power, so to speak, if you actually are hand writing it. However, if you cannot, then go ahead and type it, right? So you're going to start writing. And automatic writing is it's you might have heard it as a brain dump, but you're just writing things down. And you can set a timer or whatnot, but you don't have anything specific that you're going to write about. You're just writing down whatever comes to your mind in response. And it might be a whole lot of nonsense, but remember, you're the only one reading this. So you're not going to submit this for a grade. Okay, this is just an exercise from your conscious mind, right? So we're not, what we're doing is just getting what we need down the page from your subconscious mind. So it might start with, I'm just writing, I'm writing because I want to develop my claircognizance. Oh man, I need to remember to get the meat out of the freezer. I saw a bird fly across dangerously close to my window today. And then once you start getting all of that down, all of that conscious mind stuff, pick up the groceries, whatever, then we start getting deeper as you start to develop and just write. Then later, I mean, you can start setting an intention for your claircognizance. And again, the first, I don't know, couple of sentences, pages, who knows, is just your conscious mind like trying to make sense of it and then just moving down. You can also use a pendulum and you don't have to go out and buy anything. Oop, sorry, I hit this. As long as you have something like on a chain or on a string and something is heavy below it, in some cultures, people use their rings, right? And you can first test it and say, okay, show me which way yes is, which way is no, what is unsure, rephrase. If you have a board, you can use a board. I have a beautiful pendulum board that my friend Brandy made me. It's gorgeous. I love using it. Or you can just write on a piece of paper. Up and down is yes, side to side is no, and in a circle means unknown. I don't know. However it is you want to do it. And just asking the questions like, will my best friend call me today? And while you're waiting for that answer, you're really visualizing in your head either the phone call or not the phone call, or maybe you see them. This is your clear sense of knowing and how you're going to activate and work out that muscle. Let me see if I have anything else here for claircognizance. I really enjoyed that because um I I hadn't used the pendulum before. Okay, another way to build up your claircognizance is visualization. And this is good for guided meditations. I have a few, but you can literally look up guided meditations as they walk you through and really start picturing yourself, obviously, where they are guiding you, but receiving insights and information and guidance while you're going through. Okay. I I believe that is a good place to stop for today for Claircognizance. Let me know if you use any of these exercises, if you have any other exercises that you use for claircognizance. And as always, you can submit questions or ideas for topics in the links in the show notes. You can hit me up on my socials on Instagram at Susie's underscore enchanted underscore crossroads. And I'm also on TikTok at enchanted crossroads. Send me a DM. I love hearing from you. I haven't received an email in a while, but it's summer vacation. I get it. But don't forget to contact me and hit me up. I would love to just hear from the listeners and not just see numbers on my stats page on who's listening. So, all right, gorgeous souls, until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.